Social Star Academy presents How to Become a Social Superhero. Shh! The Secret Manual for Social Skill Success by Jennifer Cullen. All right. Today you're going to use your fabulous feeling powers to sense how the children in each picture feels. So first we're going to start off with this girl who looks like she broke a window out with her ball accidentally. I want you to answer the question, I think the girl feels, and why do you think she feels that way? And then the second question is, what does the girl need help with? And if you were there, what would you do? So I want you to turn to a partner in your classroom and answer that question, or raise your hand and talk to your teacher about what you think about this. Okay, now I want you to listen to the answers that I came up with. And like we always do in these exercises, I want you to notice if you and I came up with some of the same answers or if our answers are different. And again, if they're different, that's totally fine, because that way we can talk about different perspectives and learn from each other and our different ideas. So I said, I think the girl feels worried and embarrassed because she made a mistake. And I know when I make mistakes, that's how I feel. I feel really embarrassed. And in this case, I would feel worried because I would know that I damaged somebody's property and I'm going to have to tell them about it. And what if they're going to be mad at me or something like that? Anyway, so she broke the window, and now she has to tell an adult what she did wrong. What does the girl need help with? I said it's really hard to tell the truth sometimes and to be responsible for the mistakes we make. I think the girl may need some encouragement to do the right thing in this situation. And if you were there, what would you do? If I was there, I would tell my friend it's okay to feel scared and embarrassed for making a mistake, and I would encourage her to tell the truth about what happened, and I would offer to go with her to tell an adult the truth about what happened. Okay, we're going to look at this new scenario here. There's some children playing on the playground, and if you focus in on the little boy sitting in the bottom left-hand corner of the picture, we're going to answer these questions about him. So the first question is, I think the boy sitting by himself feels. We're going to write our answer in that blank because, and if you look at his body language, it will give us some clues about maybe how he's feeling. Also, look around at the situation that's going on and combine that with his body language, and that will clue us into probably how he's feeling. The second question is, what does the boy need help with? And lastly, if you were there, what would you do? So I want you to turn to a partner in your classroom, or raise your hand and talk to a teacher and answer these questions together. All right, so now we're going to compare answers. Here's what I came up with. Let's see if we noticed some of the same things going on, or if we have different answers. And if we have different answers, of course, that's totally fine, because we can learn from each other and how we think differently about things. So I said, I think the boy sitting by himself feels sad and lonely. I thought that because his eyes look sad to me, and he's sitting all by himself, which makes me think he's feeling lonely. And I said, I think he's feeling this way because nobody invited him to play with them at recess. Everybody else seems to be doing an activity with somebody else, and he's the only one sitting by himself. But I know when I was younger, I was really shy, and if people didn't invite me to do an activity, I would kind of sit alone like he is doing by myself. I'd be too afraid to go up and ask somebody to play with them. I would just hope that they would ask me to play. If they would ask me, I would say yes, but I was too afraid to make the first move. So I also said that maybe he's just too shy. Maybe he's new and he doesn't really know anybody's names yet or anything like that. So that's also awkward, right? When you're new and you don't know who anyone is, it takes a lot of courage to go up and just start a conversation. So that could be it too, or at least that's what I'm thinking. For the next question, what does the boy need help with? I said the boy needs help making friends and being included in the activities on the playground. And if you were there, what would you do? And I said, if I saw someone sitting alone on the playground, I would go up to them and introduce myself, and then I would invite them to join in the activity I was doing. And if they didn't like the activity I was doing, I would ask them what activities they like to do, and then I would ask them if I could join them in doing that activity. So maybe he doesn't like playing on the playground or playing soccer, or maybe the merry-go-round makes him dizzy, right? So he doesn't like that. Then I would say, well, what do you like to do? He may say, oh, I like to play football in the field. So even if I don't love that activity, if I wanted to be really kind and a good friend, I could say, oh, that sounds interesting. And then I would go with him and try out something that he likes to do, even if it's not my favorite thing. But that would help him feel included. All right, this next scenario is something that's very important to talk about because it should never ever happen at school. You should feel safe at school and you should feel like you are able to go there without being hurt. And I bring up this topic because when I was in 4th grade, I was hurt by one of my classmates, and it took a lot of courage for me to ask for help from the teacher and other grown-ups, and some of the grown-ups didn't listen to me and didn't help me very well. So that's why I like to talk about these situations and have you practice what you would do, because sometimes it doesn't go exactly as you plan it, and you need to practice what you would do, what you would say to learn how to react in real life if this ever happens. But again, like I said, I hope it never does. This kind of thing should never happen at school. You should feel safe going to school, and that's my hope, is that in your classroom you always feel safe and that your classmates are kind and treat you the right way. So yeah, if we look at this situation, there's a little girl getting her hair pulled by one of her classmates, and then the other classmate looks like he took away her book, and then he looks like he's either teasing her by like saying, ha 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 ha, I have your book, or he almost looks like he's gonna use it to like bump her on the head with it or something. But either way, that's not a good situation at all. So let's talk about this for a minute and answer these questions. So I think the girl in the pink dress feels, look at her body language. Look at the situation. How do you think she feels right now? And why do you think she feels that way? The second question is, what does the girl in the picture need help with? And finally, if you were there, what would you do? So I want you to talk to a classmate or raise your hand and talk to a teacher and answer these questions together. All right, now we're going to come back together and I'm going to tell you what I noticed and what I was thinking, and then I want you guys to compare our answers, see if we came up with some of the same ideas, see if they were different, and again, if they're different, awesome, we can learn from each other's different perspectives. So I said, I think the girl in the pink dress feels afraid, hurt, and worried because the boys in the picture are pulling her hair and taking away her books. What does the girl in the picture need help with? The girl's being physically assaulted. That's another way of saying bullied by these boys, and needs someone to help her get out of the situation or stop the boys' bad behavior. And then I said, if you were there, what would you do? So anytime you see this kind of behavior, you have several options that you can use to help a classmate who's being bullied by others. And depending on the situation, you should choose the option that feels safest for you. You do have to remember to protect yourself in these kind of situations. If you ever come upon an incident where you see people punching each other, kicking each other, or there's any type of weapon involved, you need to go get the help of an adult right away. That's a very dangerous situation that you should not put yourself in the middle of. So let an adult who's trained to deal with these types of situations, whether that be social worker, security guard, whatever, deal with the situation. One way or the other, the police will be involved. This is a very serious situation. If you ever commit violence on another student, that's a legal issue, and the police will be called, and criminal charges can be pressed against you for hurting another student. So that's another reason why it's super duper important to learn to control your temper and never ever use violence to solve problems at school. I knew of a boy in my school who hit another kid so hard that he had to go to the hospital, and there were charges pressed. So be smart and have a plan in mind of what you will do if somebody's frustrating you, bothering you, whatever. Think about how you can deal with it in a non-violent way. Kick a soccer ball, Go ride your bike or your scooter, or go for a swim, go paint a picture, work in the garden, anything that will distract you from hurting somebody and will help you feel better. Remember, you always have the option to take a deep breath and just walk away from any situation that is frustrating you, you feel angry about. Just seriously, go take a walk and come back later. You'll feel so much better. Okay, now that we've taken the time to talk about how to be safe when helping a classmate that you see being hurt by another student, now we're going to move ahead and talk about something else you can do to help a classmate or friend that you see getting hurt by someone else. Be a friend to the classmate who's being bullied so they do not feel alone. This one is really important. I know in 4th grade when I had a classmate hurt me badly and I was sitting underneath my teacher's desk crying, I was so thankful that 2 other girls ran right away and told a teacher and got some help for me. And then they were nice to me and tried to make me feel better afterwards. So in that story I just told you, I combined 2 steps together. You can be a friend to the person who is getting bullied, and also keep in mind what we talked about earlier. You need to keep yourself safe in the situation. So if you ever see a friend or classmate being hurt by someone else and it's too much for you to handle, you need to get a trusted adult involved right away. That can be a parent, teacher, school counselor, coach, or school security officer. And unfortunately, sometimes we adults are not good at listening to kids when they are hurt and they need help. This happened to me when I was in 4th grade, and a group of 5th grade girls were ganging up on me and hurting me on the school bus and at recess. I asked the principal for help and a teacher, and the bus driver saw what was going on and didn't do anything. So I felt pretty stuck. You may have to go to multiple adults to get help before somebody listens to you, believes you, so don't give up. Keep trying. If the first teacher, coach, security guard, whoever that you talk to is not listening, does not understand the seriousness of the situation going on, just keep trying until you find an adult that will help you resolve the situation. Some bullies love attention, so do not encourage bullying by providing an audience. Never clap, cheer, or laugh if you see someone hurting someone else. Set a good example by always being kind to others. There's a reason you're on this earth. Everybody has a purpose. So you just need to find out what that purpose is and live your life in a positive way to help other people and learn to solve problems without using violence. I think this is a very important problem that you have to solve, because I know that every time I watch TV, whenever somebody has a problem with somebody else, it seems like they punch them or kick them or hurt them with some kind of object, like a gun or a knife. If you do something like that and you hurt somebody really bad, trying to get what you want or get them to stop doing something that you don't like, then you're going to get in trouble with the police. And you could either go to jail for the rest of your life or have like a criminal record, and that will affect you getting jobs and pretty much just ruin your life. So using violence really is not a good way to resolve a problem that you're having. To be a social superhero, you have to be super smart, and you have to figure out how to solve a problem without hurting somebody to get what you want. And sometimes that's trickier and you have to be more creative. But I know you can do it. I know you guys can think of some really creative ways to solve problems that you have without hurting somebody else. Okay, we're going to take a look at this new situation. Observe what's going on. Look at the 2 boys' facial expressions. This will help us to figure out how they're feeling. So I want you to answer this question. I think the boy in the purple shirt feels because what does the boy in the purple shirt need help with? And if you were there, what would you do? So I want you to turn to a partner in your classroom and answer that question, or raise your hand and talk to your teacher about what you think about this picture. Awesome job. Way to use your feeling powers to sense how other people are feeling. Now let's take some time to compare our answers with each other. As usual, if we have similar answers, that's great. If not, let's learn something from each other and what we said. So I answered the question, I think the boy in the purple shirt feels happy and included because the other boy is talking to him, smiling at him, and helping him get around in his wheelchair. What does the boy in the purple shirt need help with? The boy in the purple shirt may need someone to keep him company during recess and sit with him in the cafeteria at lunchtime. So whether this boy is permanently in a wheelchair or just had an accident and he's temporarily in a wheelchair, either way, he's gonna love it if somebody would keep him company during recess and sit with him in the cafeteria at lunchtime. And he may also need help getting around the school and playground in his wheelchair. If you were there, what would you do? If the boy was new to the school or to my class, I would introduce myself. I would ask the boy questions about himself to find out what kinds of things he liked, and hopefully we would have some things in common. If the boy was in my class at school, I would let the teacher know that I would be happy to help him with whatever he needed. Okay, take a moment to observe this new situation, and then I want you to talk to either a classmate or raise your hand and tell your teacher the answers to these questions. I think the boy feels because. What does the boy need help with? And if you were there, what would you do? Nice job, you came up with some cool answers. Let's compare mine with yours now. So I said, I think the boy feels sad and maybe scared because his leg is hurt. What does the boy need help with? If the boy got hurt at school, he needs help finding the school nurse or a teacher. If the boy got hurt at the park or at home, he needs help finding a parent or older sibling. And if the boy got hurt in some place where no adults are nearby to help, then you can give first aid. First, I would comfort the boy and say, hey, it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna get you some help for your leg. And then I would start first aid. So the first aid steps for a minor cut, scrape, or scratch includes the following. Number 1, rinse the cut, scrape, or scratch with cool water to rinse away any dirt or germs. And then number 2, gently clean the cut, scrape, or scratch with warm water and mild soap. Number 3, apply antibiotic ointment to the cut, scrape, or scratch. And number 4, cover the cut, scrape, or scratched area with a Band-Aid. Hooray! Amazing job! Way to be a social superhero. You accomplished mission number 3. So good for you. Way to go. And I know as you practice these skills, you're going to be an amazing, super amazing friend to somebody. And you're going to make their school year awesome. Thanks for talking to me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!